All right, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Commissioner Student Advisory Council meeting for December. My name is Glyptis Ann Greider-Jones, and I am an information officer here at the Kentucky Department of Education. And I'd like to kick it over and reintroduce you to our Interim Commissioner of Education, Robin Fields Kinney. She joined us at our first meeting last in October in her new role as Interim Commissioner, and welcome back, Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Glyptis Ann. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning, and thank you so much for so many people tuning in to participate in today's discussion we have with the Student Advisory Council. We always appreciate hearing your perspective on things that are going on in your schools and in your communities. Just to share a little bit about things that I've been doing since the last time we were together, I've had the pleasure of being able to participate in lots of discussions with different advisory councils. Also with our United We Learn Council, which, you know, is trying to determine what the future of education looks like in Kentucky. Really trying to develop more vibrant learning experiences so that kids really want to come to school and are happy to be there. Innovation, especially in the areas of assessment. So those exams that you take, really trying to be innovative in that area as well. And then finally, looking at how we can develop more engaging opportunities with our communities. So we know that you all are a very important part of that conversation, and look forward to hearing from you on that as well. The other really cool thing that I've gotten to do is I'm starting to travel a little bit to school districts, and had the pleasure of going to, I've been to Warren County and Fayette County and Robertson County, seeing all kinds of really personalized learning taking place, meeting great teachers and getting to talk with our students, which is the best part of the job. So I look forward. I hope that I will come to a district that you are in the near future, and I'd love to see you there. So I'll keep my eye out as to who is in which district and try to stop by and say hello on one of my visits. We do have a really full agenda today, and I know that you are busy as well. December is always a really, really busy time for students and staff and just all of us as you prepare for the holidays. And you're also probably taking some exams in the near future. So I wish you the very best on those. But today we will have, our agenda is pretty full. We're going to do a roll call of members, and Glyptis Ann is going to help us with that. We're going to do a mindful minute activity, and Annalie Jackson from KDE here is going to help with that activity. I'm really excited to listen with you on the discussion on career and technical education pathways. Beth Engel from KDE is going to lead that discussion, and then you're going to break into your council project activity. And then finally at the end, Glyptis Ann will kind of hit cleanup for us and do opportunities for students and members announcement. So again, really happy to be here with you this morning and look forward to learning alongside you. I'm going to turn it back to Glyptis Ann, and she can kick us off with the roll call of members.
Thank you. As in the past, when I call your name, please say present or here. It just is helpful for us in the roll keeping aspect. And thank you, Commissioner Kinney, for that update. And I want to echo your comments about best wishes to our students, as many of you, I'm sure, are preparing for exams at this time of year. So I will quickly call roll. Again, just say present or here. And if you're having any difficulties with technology, please feel free to write in the chat, and I will begin the roll. Ava Benson.
Here.
Isaac Reese Blakeman.
Here.
Thank you. Owen Borden.
Here. Sorry, my mic.
No worries. Good morning. Cameron Breyer.
Here.
Morning. Owen Graham Cody.
Here.
Hunter Combs.
Here.
Good morning. Jude Dela.
Here.
Justin Dunning. Brima Dutt.
Here.
Good morning. Manas Garla.
I'm here.
Nicholas Hazlett,
Here.
Onette Irakiza.
Here.
Morning. Trey Avery Jackson. Peter Jefferson.
Here.
Morning. Shraman Carr.
Here.
Morning. Vijay Kumar Karthikeyan. Seth Langford.
Here.
Good morning. Danica Rose Love.
Here.
Gabriella McAdams.
Here.
Good morning. Constance Ray Martin. Send a note. She will be absent. Anopa Musoni. RJ Osborne. Tanvi Rakesh. Send a note. She won't be on. Daniel Ratley. Jocelyn Reddick.
Here.
Good morning. Caleb Robinson. Amy Roblero Perez.
Here.
Morning. Sophia Staples. Ian Swenson. Thank you. Mally Taylor. Sarah Umberger. Austin Eric Vidito. Sent a note that he may be joining later. Carly Watts.
Here.
Morning. Bentley White. Aliete Yanez Medina.
Here.
Good morning. India Young.
Here.
Good morning. And Joshua Zizek.
Here.
All right, well, welcome. Good morning. That concludes our roll call, and I am going to move quickly over to an approval of summary of the minutes from our last meeting, which was October 18. You all were emailed a copy of those minutes, and I can also display them online. But I'll now take a motion to approve the minutes from the October 18 meeting. If someone would like to just make that motion.
Motion to approve the minutes?
Thank you. Is that Peter?
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Peter. All right. And do I have a second to make a second to, I missed it. Sorry, who was that?
Owen, second.
Owen, perfect. Thank you. And then now we'll just do a voice vote. So if all those in favor of approving the minutes from our last meeting, just say aye.
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 Thank you. And then if there's any opposed, you can say nay now. And so hearing none, the motion passes. And so we will move to approve those minutes. And so now I will move over for an introduction of our next guest speaker, Annalee Jackson. Annalee Jackson is with our Division of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging here at the Kentucky Department of Education, and we are excited to have her join us for the first time here at our Commissioner's Student Advisory Council. She will be leading us in a Mindful Minute activity. So, Annalee, if you are ready.
Yes, good morning, everyone. It is so great to meet you virtually in this space. The Division of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging has spoken really highly of this group, and I cannot be more happy to be here. I wanted to take a minute and give a warm welcome from our team. Dr. Woods Tucker is here, and of course, Dr. Damian Sweeney and myself would love to welcome you. And Dr. Michelle Searcy, I know she would want me to give you a very special hello. And I know she wishes she could be with you this morning, but I am so happy to be here and step in with you all. as a former teacher, I am so appreciative of this group and y'all's focus on student and teacher well-being. And I've had the opportunity to speak with some KDE staff at a recent training, and we were talking about our why for being within education, and that was really connecting with students and elevating your voices. And so this group is really important, and I'm happy to be with you all today. To kick us off in the spirit of the holidays, I would love if you could drop into the chat 3 words that represent one of your favorite holiday memories. And so if I was to start us off, my 3 words would be laughter, excitement, and fireworks. And if you can come off mute, I would so appreciate, I'd love to hear your voices. And I am having a little bit of trouble with my chat. I can type in the chat, but I can't see your responses. So I'd love to hear your responses as well.
I can share my 3. I'm having trouble with chat as well.
Go ahead. I really appreciate that.
I would say family, chaos, and fun.
I love that. The balance of connection and just kind of the hectic nature of the holidays. Really appreciate you for sharing.
Exactly.
Anyone else would love to hop off mute? I'd love to hear your voices. I taught virtually for a whole year in the pandemic, so anytime I hear a student's voice, I really love to hear from you guys.
I would like to share.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say family as well, food and dance. My parties are usually really crazy.
I love that. So celebration, I love like food for sure, just coming from Thanksgiving. I think a lot of us are thinking about that great meal we had with family. Thank you for sharing. All right. Well, I think we can notice here, and just for the few of us who are able to share, and if you put in the chat, I really appreciate you. I'm so sorry, I can't see your responses for some reason. But we can see the connection that's really important to us within the holidays. And I think this group, particularly from what I know and have heard about you all, is we know that presence is really important for connection, being able to disconnect from technology, being in the here and now. I'm sure you all have had like that really good friend that just does such a good job of listening to you when you need it. And so we also know that stress can impede our presence and make that difficult sometimes. And so, like we said, the holidays is this wonderful mixture of connection, but sometimes can feel a little chaotic or hectic. And so I would love to walk you all through a short mindfulness meditation to focus on our breathing. This is something that's been really helpful for me, even within the last couple of months, to really ground yourself and bring you back into the present. Before we do that activity, I'd like to give y'all 3 reminders. First, of course, this is optional mind meditation. And so if you think in this moment it would be better for you to spend like a few silent moments and like your own reflection, I encourage you to do that. However, if you're excited to jump into this virtual meditation space with me, I know virtual can be a little different. I welcome you and I'm really excited for this. Some great reminders. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, one great thing that you can do to soften your gaze is to just look down or away from distraction. And then lastly, if you're finding yourself distracted or finding your thoughts really wandering during this activity, that's to be expected. And so don't be too hard on yourself if you feel distracted. Just kind of note that, oh, like I'm getting distracted. Let me focus back on my breathing right now. And so to lead this activity, I am going to read from a script because I am not a meditation expert in any means. I've just started my meditation journey in the last couple of months. But just in case you have any tech trouble or I'm breaking up for you, I'm going to put a short deep breathing activity in the chat that you can participate in independently if that ends up working better for you. So to start us off, take a moment to get comfortable. We're going to start with our eyes open, just with a nice big deep breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe out through the mouth, just gently closing the eyes, just enjoying that feeling of having nothing to do for a few minutes. Don't worry if the mind is thinking, just let the mind think. Just taking a moment to enjoy that feeling of having nothing to do. And as you bring your attention to the body, just taking a moment to notice the feeling of the feet on the floor, the hands and the arms on the legs. Noticing how the body feels. Whether there is a sense of stillness or movement in the body right now. And just noticing how the breath feels in the body. Remember, if you can't feel anything, you can just gently place your hand on the stomach. Just checking in with that rising and falling sensation. Noticing if the breaths are long or short, fast or slow. Staying with that movement just for a couple more breaths. Following that rising and falling sensation. And then just for a moment, let go of any focus on the breath, any focus on the body, and just let your mind do whatever it wants to do. If it wants to think, let it think. And having given the mind a break, just bringing the attention back into the body now. Back to that feeling of the body pressing down, the feet on the floor, the hands and the arms on the legs. Take a moment to notice how you feel without judgment. Maybe you feel refreshed. Maybe you feel a strong emotion. Maybe you feel the same as when you started. Note how you feel without judgment and then remind yourself of your intention for participating in this exercise. And then when you are ready, just gently opening the eyes again. All right, thank you everyone for participating. Hopefully that was a relaxing exercise for you. I want to take a moment, if your chat is working, if you can, share with the group just an emoji that shows how it felt to participate in that activity. And then if you're comfortable, hop off mute, share with me so I can see. I'd love to know what that felt like for you. Did anyone help me out with the chat? Like, what are some emojis that we're seeing? What are we feeling after that activity?
A lot of them are like calm and relaxed, and it just seems like, we were just in a moment of relaxation.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Well, thank you guys for participating in that activity. If you enjoyed that, it was a 2 to 3 minute headspace meditation called Taking a Break. Coming back to this idea of connection and building presence with folks around us throughout the holidays, I wanted to close us out by asking you all, what advice would you give a classmate who wants to support folks in need during the holidays? So what would you share with them? Any advice? Maybe it's something that you've done in the past during the holidays. Maybe it's something you're thinking that you want to try this holiday season to support folks. So I'll put that question in the chat too. Yeah, Peter, go ahead.
I was going to say just simply being present for people and being aware of different family conditions, trying to give people the space to explain or not explain what's going on, but still be able to connect with them during the holidays.
Really appreciate that, like making space for like knowing that this time is very celebratory, but then for some folks it might be different, and so like giving your presence, like you said, listening ear. Really appreciate that. Is that Seth? I think I see your hand.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things is emotional support for people who don't have the best home life. Drives are always great, but I know from personal experience that sometimes the biggest problem is that you don't feel safe or comfortable during what's supposed to be a break, and sometimes you just need to listen to someone who's going through that.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Again, like that presence and listening for folks who might need extra support during this time. I think I saw Owen. Is that your hand?
Yeah, some advice that I would give is to first I'd be like, wow, that's really good. You're in like the right spot, like mindset to get helping. I think some really good advice would then finding organizations that can help you achieve those goals. So like if your school has like a honor society or like a beta club or things like that, where the focus is on volunteer or just being a supportive, space for other people, I would suggest getting involved in those groups to see like people who have mindsets like yours to try and put your ideas into action.
I love that one, and I appreciate you said like, wow, like I'm so excited to hear that, and then also like giving them ideas, like connect with organizations. There's lots of great groups that are doing really cool work, and you can like volunteer your time, again, your presence, and help in that way. Yeah, Nicholas.
I'd just like to say this holiday season normally is a calming time, but for us seniors, there's a lot of deadlines we're hitting, college reasons, scholarships, all of that. So I think just being supportive of your classmates in this moment, I mean, even if you don't really know them that well or you've not really interacted with them, just being, kind of a team effort, because, we're all going through a really big transition, especially here at Paintsville. So I think that's a really good mindset to have going into, late December, early January. If that we're all in this together and we all want to get through it. So.
Nicholas, that's a great point, and like reminding yourself of the context that you're in and kind of what's going on for other folks, especially is helpful, because sometimes when folks react, right, we don't know where they're reacting from, and so sometimes being supportive is just like pausing yourself and being like, okay, I don't really know what's going on here, but it can be a stressful time right now, so like let me try to figure out how I can support. That's awesome. These are really excellent ideas, and I'm getting thoughts, and I'm thinking about how can I, support different family members, and my brother is a senior right now too, so I really appreciate hearing from you all. Is there any last thoughts to close this out? All right. Thank you all so much. I really hope you're leaving feeling refreshed, feeling ready to support others throughout the holidays, and also really to share your presence during this holiday season. So thank you. It was really great to meet you all virtually, and I hope you'll have a great holidays if I don't see you before then.
Thanks, Annalie. I wanted to share a couple of comments. You mentioned difficulty seeing the chat. Commissioner Kinney mentioned that you had a great meditation coach voice, and so want to thank you for leading us through that short meditation exercise. And then several students also shared some organizations and opportunities regarding some volunteer opportunities in their respective networks in the chat as well. So thank you for walking us through those exercises, and appreciate you joining us this morning in this Mindful Minute activity. We're now going to move forward. And I will introduce Beth Engel. She's a division director here at the Kentucky Department of Education in the Office of Career and Technical Education. In our last meeting, career and technical education opportunities and pathways came up as part of our discussion in the meeting. And so we're excited to have Beth here to walk us through some current opportunities and some that are potentially on the horizon. So welcome, Beth.
Well, thank you very much. And I just want to say good morning to everyone. I also want to thank you for serving on this committee. We appreciate your input and your perspective as students, because one of our missions, of course, is to serve all of Kentucky's students. And thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. My passion is career and technical education. I am a 19-year educator. I'm a business and marketing instructor before becoming a division director here in Frankfort at the Kentucky Department of Education. So I would like to begin by asking a question. And if we can move to the next slide, please. And my question is, if you could just take a moment and think about what are your current career plans for the future? Or how some people like to say it, what do you want to be when you grow up? And if you don't care, pop it in the chat or unmute if you would like to share and tell me, what are some of your future career plans? Aerospace engineer, very nice. A pediatrician, we need doctors, we need healthcare. FBI cybersecurity, that's nice. Athletic trainers, I'm as fast as they are coming up. Lawyer, a nurse practitioner, a gynecologist. So lots of variety of career plans here. Lots of athletic trainers and nurse practitioners, very nice. A linguist, computer engineers, and a teacher. Wow, we really do need some great teachers in Kentucky to join our current great teachers that we have. A chiropractor, so all kinds and varied future career plans. So next slide, please. If we could take another moment, just a quick moment, what are you doing right now to achieve those goals of your future career plans? So today, in your high school career, what are you doing right now that's going to help prepare you for that future career? And if you can drop that in the chat, that would be great. Or if you want to unmute and talk about it, you can too. But what are you doing right now that's going to help you achieve those goals? Taking classes related to the field. Very good.
I recently graduated from an FBI program. So, and I've been taking psychology and generally just studying up on the field to make sure that it's really what I want to do.
That is a great point, making sure that it is really what you want to do. And that is a great opportunity while taking that class. And I think I saw another hand, but I may have missed it in the chat because I'm not quite seeing everything either in my chat. But it looks like, just from the comments that I saw and from that comment as well, that you're very focused. You're taking some classes right now that relate to the field. A lot of you are wanting to make sure that this is an area that you want to go into before you invest time, energy, and money in more studies. So those are all amazing steps. And I wanted to talk to you just for a few minutes about career and technical education and how that can also help you achieve those future career goals that you have. So right now, just quick show of hands if you want, just by raising them in with your little emoji. Is there anyone that is currently enrolled in a career and technical education pathway in your high school? No hands. And that's okay. One hand? Okay, two hands. Perfect. Okay, then one more question and I will stop asking you questions. Can anyone tell me what is career and technical education, or what that means to you when you hear career and technical education? And there's no wrong answer. So what do you think it means? Don't be shy. You can pop it in the chat or unmute.
I would say, at least my best guess would be a more specific education for careers and less general education that's more specific for either trade school or another form of education that's more focused beyond the general education of high school.
You know, that is a great definition, very focused beyond just a general high school education. I love that. That is perfect. So we're going to talk a little bit about CTE for just the next few minutes. So career and technical education is really a way of academic education with employability and technical skills. And it gives you the knowledge and the training to succeed in multiple career areas. And that's one of the things that I love so much about CTE is that it prepares students for high demand, high wage, and high skilled labor. And it allows you, or high skilled jobs. So it allows you to take that academic training or that knowledge that you're getting in your core classes and your pre-college prep curriculum and your AP courses, all that wonderful academic knowledge, and then combining it together with the technical skills that you need for the future to give you a competitive advantage or to give you a head start on these high demand, high wage, and technical skills in the future for these jobs that are coming up. So I'm going to give you some stats on career and technical education because we all love a good stat. But high school students that are enrolled in career and technical education while in high school and become concentrators, and that just means that they have 2 or more classes in the same course or program pathway or course study, are employed at a full-time rate at a higher percentage than graduates who did not have CTE experience while they're in high school. So when we look at 8 years past or post high school graduation, students who were concentrators in their CTE programs are employed at 72% at a full-time rate as compared to 67% for non-concentrating students while they were in high school. Another stat that we look at sometimes is those median annual earnings, or how much on average you can expect to make 8 years post-graduation from high school. So CTE concentrators, again, those are students who've taken 2 or more courses in a program pathway, earn higher median annual wages than those compared to non-concentrators. And those stats differ, of course, based on what area of the country that you're in, but on average, it's $4,000 to $10,000 more per year than even someone with a bachelor's degree who did not take career and technical education while in high school and become a concentrator. And a very neat, or I don't know if it's neat, but it is a statistic, and I looked it up this morning. So currently, there are 8.7 million unfilled jobs as of October 31st, 2023. So that's one of the latest labor figures. A lot of those jobs are unfilled because there were not applicants that had the necessary technical skills or education to fill those jobs. And we've been seeing that over the last 10 years, and we're calling that the labor gap, that we don't have enough trained workforce to take these high skilled jobs and they are left unfilled. So the opportunity that you have right now as a high school student going into college is very unique in that there are so many high skilled technical jobs that are yours if you get the training that's necessary. So we're going to look at some of the program areas that we have here in Kentucky for you to take advantage of while you're in high school. Next slide, please. So the Office of Career and Technical Education offers 12 program areas, and within those program areas, 146 pathways. And these are all high demand and high wage program areas. And I'm going to go through some of the program areas that are offered throughout high schools in Kentucky. Of course, we have programs. We have the agriculture program, which is very large, very popular, business and marketing, computer science, construction, education and training, engineering technology, family and consumer sciences, health science. So for all of those who are wanting to go into healthcare, we have health science pathways that help prepare students to continue their education past high school. We have ROTC and law and public safety. I saw a lot of law and public safety come up in the chat, wanting to be an FBI advisors or lawyers or somehow in the law and public safety area. Manufacturing technology, media arts, and transportation. So those are the 12 programs that we have currently in Kentucky that make up career and technical education. Now, within those programs, like I said, there are about 146 different pathways, and they're all designed around high demand careers. So career and technical education programs are planned course sequences. So at least 4 courses in the same program of study. So if you were, say, going into health science, you could take a pre-nursing pathway that would give you a 4-course sequence to give you the foundation necessary to be successful as you transition out of high school into either career or college. And those would include classes like medical terminology, anatomy and physiology, emergency procedures, getting your industry certification in a state registered nurse aide, which are sometimes required for entry into a nursing program at a college. And we have all of those different types of opportunities throughout the 12 program areas throughout Kentucky. So they are, like I said, planned course sequences, very high quality academic core content and technical skills and employability skills merged together to give you a great start to your future plans, your future career, your transition from high school to either straight to career or high school straight to college. Now, CTE pathways are aligned with post-secondary institutions. And what I mean by a post-secondary institution is a community college, a university, a regional college, those higher level schools that a lot of students will attend after they graduate high school. So these pathways are not only aligned with high demand and high wage areas in Kentucky, but we work to align them with continued studies with our post-secondary institutions. This allows students who are enrolled in CTE in high school to seamlessly transition on into their post-secondary education. And it's also a way for students to experience early post-secondary opportunities. And I know many of you are probably already participating in early post-secondary opportunities. AP classes are a post-secondary opportunity where you can take, of course, your AP exam and earn college credit for successfully passing that exam. In CTE, we have early post-secondary opportunities in the form of dual credit. Many of the courses that are in the program pathway course sequence are dual credited through numerous post-secondary institutions here in Kentucky. One of our biggest partners being KCTCS, but also EKU and University of the Cumberlands, Northern Kentucky University, Western Kentucky University, Eastern, I think I already said them. So many universities within Kentucky offer CTE dual credit. We also have end of program assessments that have articulated credit. And articulated credit just means that you're going to get credit for prior learning. So if you enroll at certain institutions, post-secondary institutions after you graduate, and you have successfully passed one of the end of program assessments, then you can get college credit at that university for classes that the university has identified. And that will vary between the universities and which end of program assessment that you take. But it is a wonderful opportunity to go ahead and get those college credits because you've already proven you have learned those concepts and those skills when you pass an end of program assessment. Students who are in CTE programs can also earn those valid industry certifications or credentials that are vital to success in those program areas. So I was talking about health science as my example. One of the industry certifications that students can earn while in high school is the state registered nurse aid certification. That is an amazing certification that can allow you to go immediately to work in hospitals or other healthcare facilities, and possibly even take advantage of that employer's tuition reimbursement program to maybe find an avenue to get to college without having to take on student loan debt. But we have valid industry certifications throughout all of our program pathways. Another one that we have in the health science area is our patient care tech certification. We have phlebotomy certifications. We have pharmacy tech certifications that students can earn while they are in high school and then get sometimes college credit for those, as well as being able to go straight to work if they want to utilize that credential or that certification that way. We also have some students in some of our CTE programs who earn so much dual credit through their CTE program while they are in high school that some of them earn diploma certificates and get very close to an associate's degree while in high school. So there are wonderful opportunities that exist with Career and Technical Education in Kentucky. And for your specific opportunities, you would have to get with your school counselor to find out what's available in your area. And could I get the next slide, please? So some really exciting upcoming additions to Career and Tech Ed in Kentucky. One of the ones that we're getting ready to launch in August is our supply chain management career pathway. That is such a high demand area in business and industry right now. EKU has a current program, I think so does NKU, and it may have expanded past that to where you can actually go now and major in supply chain management. Working together, the Office of Career and Tech Ed worked hand in hand with NKU and EKU to develop the supply chain management pathway for Career and Tech Ed in Kentucky to really ensure that seamless transition for anyone who wanted to continue within that career path after they graduate high school. It is emerging, it is in high demand. We know that students that are enrolled in supply chain management in college are usually given job offers by their sophomore years, and they just have jobs waiting on them. So if you've ever thought about business and marketing, you might want to check out supply chain management. And I know everyone is going to be very interested in this one, and that is generative AI. And does anyone know what I mean by generative AI? You can pop it in the chat if you want to. I know you've all heard of AI, artificial intelligence. What is generative AI? Well, it's okay if you don't want to guess. Generative AI is like those open AI platforms like ChatGPT, where the artificial intelligence application will generate those answers for you. And that's why we call it generative AI. There are so many platforms that are utilized by business and industry to help with the functions of that job. And one of the examples that comes to mind very quickly is in supply chain management. So a lot of business professionals, and they have been doing this for years, use generative AI to help them look at their supply chain, their logistics, how it all operates, and to find more efficient and effective ways to do their processes for supply chain management. So we're looking at developing generative AI throughout all the CTE pathways that match how it is utilized in business and industry. It's really upcoming in healthcare right now. So that will be coming in the next year or two, getting generative AI throughout all the CTE pathways. And in August, we will have a data science informatics pathway in partnership with iLead Academy and Northern Kentucky University, where students will have the opportunity to start early on computer science and informatics through NKU. And this is a virtual opportunity where students throughout Kentucky can enroll in this pathway at their home high school, but it's taught through iLead in partnership with NKU. So you don't have to leave your home high school, and still you can get that data science and informatics pathway. And I saw a lot of computer science career paths that were in the chat when we first started our discussion today. So next slide, please. So of course, this is going to be the part where I ask for any questions. But before I ask if you have any questions of me, I do have one more question of you. And that is, did you hear anything today that was kind of surprising or new about CTE that you had not previously known? Or anything interesting about CTE? Yeah, yes. Do you want to put it in the chat or
Yes,
speak?
I'll speak.
Sure. Okay.
I was surprised that there were so many because my school barely offers any of them. And I guess it's kind of shocking to see how many options there really are.
And that's a very good point. And there are a lot of options. There are too many, of course, for one high school or any school to be able to offer. And usually what schools try to do, in my experience, is offer those that are in high demand in their region or the area that they are located in Kentucky. But that was a very good point. Thank you. And then someone else has their hand up. I can't quite see who it is, but go ahead and speak. Let's see. Jeff or Peter. Do you go by Peter?
Yes. Yes.
And what did you
I
find
was gonna
interesting?
say the stats that you shared at the beginning were surprising me. I knew that the career and technical. I thought the stats were surprising, like I said, and the interesting part was that the only 8 years out, there's already this great growth that they're showing in comparison. I did not anticipate when you said that stat it to be only 8 years. That's
Right.
very impressive.
And that is a very good point. And I'm so glad that you noticed that. I did too. And that has been historically true. We've been tracking these stats for several years now through the Bureau of Labor Statistics, through KY Stats, through different agencies, and that has historically been true. And it is surprising that it is only 8 years out. So I agree with that observation as well. Thank you. Okay, does anyone have any questions for me? I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Well, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Can you help me?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Alieta Yanes Medina. It is
Thank
hard. I understand. Don't worry.
No, you're fine. And what question do you have today?
Before you were talking about how to get a state health certification, could you tell me more about it? And also, could you repeat the whole title? I didn't get it the first time.
Mm-hmm. Do you care to repeat that? My technology cut out on me a little bit. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your
Could
fault.
you give me more information? Could you give me more information about how to get the state health certification? And also, could you give me the whole title before you said that, like, some numbers I seen at the end and I didn't get them? Could you repeat that, please?
So the certification for health sciences, is that the one? Okay.
Yes.
So if you're in the pre-nursing pathway, we offer what's called the state registered nurse aide. State registered nurse aide. The acronym is SRNA. And that is the certification that is required to be a nurse aide within a hospital or a long-term healthcare facility. Some people refer to them as nursing homes, but you have to be CNA or SRNA certified in order to work in that capacity. So that was a very good question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I know that the University of Kentucky, I need to look this up. I think they still do require that all of their nursing candidates hold that certification before they can be admitted into the nursing program at UK. So some colleges will require certifications, entry-level certifications like that before you can enroll into the actual programs. A few years ago, UK also required the Microsoft Office Specialist certifications for anyone who was going to be admitted into their business college. I don't know if that's still true, but you may want to look at those requirements at the university or college you're thinking of attending to see if there are any certifications required for entry into the program that you want to go into for your career. Any other questions? And Nicholas, do you go by Nick or Nicholas, sir?
Either one. Either one is fine with me. My question is, I like to, whenever we have these meetings or if we have any emails come through, I like to kind of give an update to kind of admin about kind of new opportunities, that sort of thing. And I know you mentioned the 3 new additions potentially to the pathways. Do you have kind of a timeline on that, or if that's still in the works?
I do have a timeline. Supply chain management will be available in August of 2024. The data science informatics pathway will also be available August of 2024. And generative AI will come in the form of at least units of study by August of 24. We're hoping to have a course in each pathway in the next 5 years.
All righty. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, if there are no further questions, I again want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. You can always reach me by email if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer those at any time. And I appreciate your attention. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your school year. Good luck on your exams. Happy holidays to everyone, and have a wonderful and restful upcoming break.
Thank you, Beth, for that, for those updates and for more information about the pathways. I dropped in the chat the link to the Kentucky Department of Education's website. That is the front page for the career and technical education. And so some of the information that Beth was sharing with us, I think, is on there. There's a poster, for example, showcasing the different pathways and links to more information. And I'll also share that out with you all in a meeting recap today, along with Beth's email if you all have some follow-up questions that you'd like to reach out about there. So again, thank you for your presentation. If you all have questions, feel free to drop in the chat or include those in our exit slip, and we'll be sure to relay those over to our colleagues in CTE. So thank you for that update. Like I said, some of our students had questions knowing about some upcoming opportunities in the CTE in the CTE world. So we'll now transition over to our council's project activity. And I know, I believe Rima is on the call, and I want to double check and see if Bentley has been able to join. And hi, Rima. Rima's on video now. And So this is an opportunity. I believe Rima is going to share an update about some of the work that she and Bentley, as chair and vice chair of the council, have been working on since our last meeting in October. And for a quick recap, the conversation about student voice as a project activity that the council seemed to be interested in pursuing and learning more about what does student voice look like in Kentucky really emerged in the May 2023 Student Advisory Council as a potential area for focus. So this, beginning with the current calendar year and the current council term, you all have been steadily working and brainstorming and thinking about what kind of information that you all would like to learn more about student voice, and perhaps engage an exercise or an activity to learn more about that. And so I will pause and hand it over to Rima to share an update about where things are, and then we will move to a current activity for today's meeting.
Yeah, and to recap, basically what we've been doing over the past couple of months, during the last meeting, we came up with like a really long list of questions that we drafted during the call. Also, like potential stakeholder groups to interview. So Bentley and I have taken the time to like go through the questions, see what was redundant, and like really pick 5 questions that we believed that really like best captured like what we wanted to interview about. So those 5 questions are: number 1, what is your definition of student voice? Number 2, why is student voice important in education? Number 3, what current initiatives are underway to increase student voice in your position, and how successful has that been? Number 4, how do you feel that meaningful student voice could be implemented in education? And number 5, what, if anything, holds you back from inputting your student voice into decisions in your school or community? So the reason we kept it brief was because we wanted to make sure we could interview as many people as possible. And with these 5 questions, these conversations could last like anywhere from like 10 to 30 minutes, which I think is like the ideal time. And we also finalized the groups we wanted to interview. So you guys put so many amazing groups, but I think for convenience, we really wanted to capture all the stakeholders. And it just so happens to be that how Kentucky Department of Education has the student council. There's also councils across the state for principals, for teachers, and all those different sorts. So we decided on 5 of those councils. So we will be reaching out to the Superintendent's Advisory Council, the Principals Advisory Council, the Teachers Advisory Council, the local school board members Advisory Council, and the School Counselor Advisory Council. So we will be doing some work to include the student voice on our perspective, but we will also be interviewing all of those groups. We invited them for our in-person meeting in January. So we're going to see how many can actually show up. I mean, we're not expecting the entire council, but if we have some representatives, that would be great. And for the ones who can't show up, we also asked to schedule like follow-up online, like Zoom interviews that like we as a team could conduct. So that's basically like what Bentley and I have been working on for the past couple of months. And then for today's time, because I know we have 45 minutes. So because we're not doing the interviews until January, the analysis process is mostly going to be in February and March. And then by the end of April for our in-person meeting, we're hoping to have the report together so we can present that to policymakers and maybe do like a press release and really just get our work out there. But for now, we really want to maximize this time to do the student perspective of the brief. So originally we were going to split into 2 breakout rooms, but I think for today, we're just going to work on these one at a time. So I'm going to drop a document in the chat. Okay. And let me know if that, like, you guys are having any problems with that link. But basically, in the start of the report, I think it's really important to capture why our council was interested in creating this project, because it's entirely student voice centered. So on this document, I kind of have a couple questions that maybe you want to answer, but the goal is like, if everyone could write maybe like anywhere from like 2 to 4 sentences on why this project like resonated with you and like why you're interested, that would be great. So like if you like put that and then like at the end, like you tag your name along with it. So I'm thinking we can maybe take like 10 minutes to do that, if that sounds good with everyone. And then like whenever you guys feel like you're done, if you could put it in the chat over here, that would be great.
I think a big thing for me whenever it comes to like the interest in student voice is, you know, we're minors and we've always been viewed as like, oh, you're a minor, you can't vote yet, so you don't have a voice. But I feel like that whole philosophy is just simply incorrect. Like, our voice is important, and these decisions that take place in school, we should also have a say in, because it's our life that's being impacted. And then I think
Okay.
the stakeholders is just, that's all the people who are involved in school. It kind of goes without saying.
Okay, I tried to type that up like as much as I could to be accurate to what you said. And while we're still typing, I'm just going to read some out to hopefully, like, if you haven't thought about anything, give you some inspiration, and also just like to really capture like why we're doing this work. So Jocelyn said, student voice has become the focus because we realize as a council how important it is in the education system. When students are able to represent their student body and voice their opinions, the result is a community where students feel heard and appreciated, resulting in many benefits such as a safe community for students, unity, and willingness to cooperate with one another to work towards a common goal. And I think she said that perfectly. Reese also said, student voice is the pillar of progress in the education system. While there can be many wonderful policies implemented in school system, education must adapt to the ones being educated. Therefore, as the society evolves and students' interests, habits, and learning styles evolve, we must meet them where they stand. Student voice allows students to take the lead in this evolution, to provide the invaluable feedback utilized to define our education system, and search for the ideas, ambitions, and hopes instilled in students that can truly be the definition of the future. Through the school system's past tomorrows, leaders, workers, innovators, and legislators, student voice helps bring the future to the present, which is why we are so excited to be able to interview those stakeholders and organizations that house these student opinions. And that was also amazing. I also want to point out Hunters, because this statistic I think is really shocking. So Hunter said students are the ones in schools. We spend 1.51 million seconds in an American high school on average. So we should have a say in what we have to go through. We interview decision makers because we aren't in the rooms where it happens. We aren't in the places that these decisions are made. So we should talk with those who are. And there's so many wonderful comments. I think I'll give you guys like 5 more minutes because I see people are still typing. But if anyone like ever wants to unmute and share out, you're more than welcome to.
Rima, would I be able to just voice out kind of my response, because I still cannot get the document to
Yes, I can. Sorry, that's our school bell.
No, mine will probably
as you talk, can you just make sure to talk a little slow so I can like get it word for word?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay.
And the question is why student voice is important to me personally and how effective this conversation may be?
Yes.
Okay. I think student voice in its entirety is essential for, school decisions. I think student-teacher relationship, I think it builds off of everything that is necessary in a school. Without having students that feel like they're heard and that they're concerns are considered, I don't think you're going to have a very effective and productive school year. And as to why we're interviewing these respective committees, I mean, all of these individuals, I think, are a part of the response to our, whatever our project may end up being, in whatever iteration we want to come up with it. Superintendents, principals, over the administration, the school boards, the teachers and the counselors, they're the ones that administer what we will recommend inevitably. So I think it's, as somebody said earlier, that it's just kind of, it's said and done. Those are the people that we need to get a hold of.
Okay, awesome. And I tried to type that up to the best of my abilities. There are some words that I missed, but.
Okay, you're fine. I'll edit it once I can.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to share out to the group?
I can go ahead and share. I don't know if my audio quality is the best.
I'm hearing you
I was just
really
gonna
well.
mention. Okay, great. I was just gonna mention how student voice just gives us a clear opportunity for to just hear about the finite details faced by students in schools. I thought that the oral approach was a good approach because it offers us a conversational manner rather than an interrogative manner where it seems like we're interrogating them to talk about things and their issues that they face. But by having an oral conversation, it gives them an opportunity to mention things that they see as positives and things that they see that can be improved. So overall, I'm really liking this manner.
Seth.
I feel like the oral interview is the best way to conduct the process because it leaves room for discussion between stakeholders, and discussion builds empathy, and empathy leads to more conducive policies to a healthy learning environment. I feel student voice should always be a conversation between the stakeholders in a school.
Thanks. I'm seeing Peter.
Thank you. I was going to say that since we are a council of students, obviously students are kind of the thing that we have the most expertise on. And since we have the ability to share our voice directly with the Kentucky Department of Education, we also have a responsibility to share our fellow students' voices. That was why I felt as though that's a good reason that the council's interested. And I agree with Seth that the conversation is two ways. The oral interviews allow for a two-sided, not even two-sided, but two-way conversation that allows for the nuance that elevating student voice forward.
And it looks like everyone's basically done typing on the document. So this is kind of like last chance. If anyone wants to unmute and share with the group, you're more than welcome to. And if not, we can move on.
And to, I was going to say, to reiterate, we'll be sure to share the link in our follow-up exit slip email today.
Yes, for sure. And I am about to share with you guys another document. And let me put in the chat first. And again, I know some people are experiencing problems with the document or the chat. So if not, again, like we can do the whole unmuting or just like typing up your answer in the chat. But basically, so we wanted to make sure that our end result, like the first document, included why we were interested in this project. But we also think if you're familiar with our school safety policy brief from last year, we included a lot of statistics to back up our claims, right? Because we are producing this with the Kentucky Department of Education, we want to make sure everything we're saying is credible. So this section of the report will be including a lot of statistics, a lot of research, and a lot more of that like academic style type of writing, where we're basically talking about like why student voice is successful. So basically on this document, it's giving you a space to maybe like go on a website and find a statistic about student voice, or go on a website or like maybe like a journal article or a quote that basically highlights the importance of student voice, or maybe like different places or past models where it's been been successful. This can be in other states and things like that. So with the rest of the time today, if everyone could like try to research, maybe you can either like find statistics, find quotes, or maybe even like type up like a paragraph about this and embed that in there. But make sure to like include your sources. You don't have to cite it like MLA style, but just like having the link close to like where you're typing will be really important. Let me clean this up.
And Rima, are some of these newspaper articles, or are you just encouraging specifically research-based materials? What would you encourage the group to consider?
It can be a mix. I mean, whatever you guys feel is credible. I'm sure like most people have an understanding of that. So just making sure it's more of a fact-based rather than opinion. Or if it is an opinion, it's coming from someone who like led a student voice initiative in maybe their county or their state. So it's kind of just again like looking at that credibility factor. Because I know like we have the Commissioner Student Advisory Council. In some other states, they also have groups similar to this.
Would anyone like to share out with the group some interesting, I noticed there's some interesting statistics being shared in the document. Would someone mind sharing out or reading some of that statistics for the group who's not able to see the document?
Yeah, I could share something. So
Thank you.
so I found out that when students have a voice, they're 7 times more likely to be motivated to learn, 8 times more likely to experience engagement in schools, and 9 times more likely to experience purpose in school. And this is from the AWSA.
Yes, always important to include your sources. So thank you. Are there any others who would like to share out some information?
My statistic revealed in a 2016 study that high schoolers were more engaged than elementary and middle schoolers, and it revealed that there is an extreme disparity in involvement with the students. Even though the high school number was higher, it was, in the grand scheme of things, quite low. So, let me pull up the statistic for a source. CAP 20 you.
I think Seth may have just dropped off. Is there anyone else who'd like to share before we recap where the group is today in the project, and then some action items perhaps for you all to consider looking ahead to the next few council meetings? I'm noticing in the chat, Owen has found some information about the impact of the pandemic, perhaps, and the role that may have impacted or played in shaping student voice. And I see Onette, would you like to share?
A lot of things I was reading about were about how, like, when students and teachers are like interacting with each other, and the teachers are like listening to the student input, that's when like students perform better, like academically. And I feel like that makes so much sense. Like, whenever you're closer with the teacher and you have like that personal connection, you seem to perform better because like you actually care about that class, if that makes sense. So I think that information like that would help.
Nicholas.
Just from the little time that I've had looking through this, I've tried to gauge states around us, like Missouri, Illinois, Ohio, in Tennessee. And what I've noticed is a lot of states that we are the one exception that have a lot of emphasis on student voice. You know, those think tanks that I found that have talked about it, and a lot of, might we say, grassroots groups, but not a lot of just, you know, state government, you know, department level emphasis on it. I did see where Illinois does have a state board for their Board of Education that does have student representatives. So I think that that is a plus. But I think what we should at least try and consider in our work is that we have a very unique model in which we have about 30 or 40 of us that are here that are able to give our voices and put work into this, where a lot of states around us just don't have that as a capacity or an option.
Thanks, Nicholas. Are there any other thoughts, Rima, before perhaps sharing with the group about what next steps are and what they can look forward to leading up to the January 24 student advisory meeting?
If nobody else has anything to share, I can go ahead and start sharing those next steps. So again, I think if you haven't already added something onto one of those two documents, we will be sending it out in a follow-up email after this. So you definitely will have the chance. So between now and January, we will be, Bentley, Glyptis, Ann, and I will be like scheduling those interviews with those advisory groups and inviting them to our January meeting, which will be in person. So it would be great if you guys could try to like make some plans kind of early on to really make sure that you're there, because that's really where the bulk of the research and the interviewing will be happening. And for those who can't attend, there will also be representatives on those advisory councils who can't attend either. So we can set up virtual interviews if you would be interested in participating. So that's kind of what the next steps look like. And then with our February and March meetings, we're really hoping to transcribe what they said and put together a report with all the data we have. And that will be a bit more hands-on and working asynchronously, but for now we're like pretty relaxed. And I also know it's like the holidays, so we're not really gonna have any homework until January.
So Rima, Anything else you'd like to share?
No.
So I think I'll just echo or reiterate what Rima mentioned there about that asynchronous approach. So please be on the lookout for the emails with that information, and the model for the project is a consensus model. So if you have comments or information, please feel free to mark those in the documents. And again, make sure that you all will all have the opportunity to review and participate in the final product as you all continue to develop this project. So again, be on the lookout for those links coming in the email. And so now I will move forward for the next part of really sort of the last part of our meeting, which is to talk about some upcoming opportunities that might be of interest to students around Kentucky, and then also give some time and space if you all, our student members, have any announcements or information that would benefit the entire group hearing here today. So a couple of things. The Kentucky Department of Education is accepting nominations until December 15 for our next Kentucky Teacher of the Year award cycle. These awards celebrate some of Kentucky's most outstanding educators, and so would encourage you and your classmates to take a few moments. It takes just a couple of minutes to fill out a nomination form. The link is available on this slide, which will be shared with you all following the meeting, and it's also posted on our Kentucky Teacher flagship newsletter publication. And students, parents, teaching peers, principals, superintendents, really anyone who has an interest in honoring an outstanding educator is encouraged to nominate a deserving individual. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to awards@education.ky.gov or send me, Aglipta San, an email, and I'd be happy to follow up and answer any questions. And then second, this is a time-sensitive announcement as nominations were being, poster contest applications were being solicited from the Governor Andy Beshear and First Lady Brittany Beshear for the inviting to participate in a poster contest around the 62nd gubernatorial inauguration theme, which was Forward Together. And that's an opportunity for Kentucky high school, elementary, middle, and high school students. And there will be 5 different award winners selected. If, again, noting the time-sensitive deadline, if that's something of interest, encourage your peers or yourselves to take part. The submission guidelines for this poster contest are available online on Kentucky Teacher. And I will pause now to see if there are any member announcements or information you'd like to share before we wrap up our meeting. And hearing none, I will go ahead and move to our next slide. As Rima mentioned, our next Student Advisory Council meeting will be in person at the Kentucky Department of Education on January 23rd. And that's an in-person meeting. We encourage you all to attend if possible, but we will also have a virtual meeting link available as well. And I'm seeing in the chat that Seth has shared that they passed the CLEP exam. So congratulations on that achievement, Seth. And are there any other quick announcements before we conclude our meeting today? And so hearing none, that wraps up our meeting for today. Thank you all for your time and effort, again, in a very busy schedule, particularly with the holidays and exams and end of the calendar year activities. Want to say thank you all for taking the time to be here today. Please be on the lookout for additional links that Rima mentioned and has shared with us in the meeting today, as well as some follow-up information for contacts for our guest speakers. So thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you all in person in January if you're able to make it. Thank you.